achievements in Lagos State and Nigeria as a whole. Joining us is Bishop Professor Stephen Adebite, the Executive Secretary of the Nigerian Christian Pilgrim Commission. He will be sharing insights on the milestones of 2024 and what they mean for our collective progress. Thank you for joining us, Bishop.
Thank you very much.
So let's start with reflecting on the achievements of 2024 generally for Lagos State and Nigeria as a whole. What were some of the milestones that stood out for you?
Well, for 2024, it's been a challenging year. It's a year that comes with a lot of issues to be handled by the government. But we must realize that a lot of things have happened in our country before now, because of successive administration and people that have led our great nation. But that notwithstanding, here we now have somebody I will call the Abraham of our time, in person of Mr. President, His Excellency Bola Ahmed Tinubu, who remains dogged, whom we know is a dogged fighter, who will never give up until he gets to the crescendo of his glory. And that is exactly what he has started to do in Nigeria. He did it effectively in Lagos State, and he's doing the same in Nigeria at this time. And that is why, for me, he's been able to get autonomy for local governments, which is very, very germane and important. The local government administration is an integral part of our development in Nigeria. You and I growing up, we knew the caliber of people that normally head the local governments. But compared to what we now have, where you have a local government chairman that will never stay with the people. But back then, the people that are elected as local government chairmen are retired people of pedigree from the environment, and you have even small ministries in the local government for works, for health, for many things. So he has done that successfully, which many leaders dare to do. Apart from that, he has been able to establish regional administration, and every region now have a commission, and that shows to you that we must go back to develop our region. And development of region that time made the Southwest to be one of the leaders in Nigeria. You have the likes of Papa Olowo, the Cocoa House, the Radio Nigeria, the NTA, many things they have done at that time. These are what Mr. President wants to be replicated in all the regions. Let every region develop, and let us see. And the third one that is also important is the tax reform. With that tax reform, the poor will not pay as the rich. If you are poor, definitely nobody will penalize you, nobody will strangulate you. You will be able to, because they know the meaning. But that is where the world is, and that is what we must accept. And once we have it at this federal level, by the time Mr. President finishes his agenda, not too many people will love to be at the center. Because the center will now come down and region will go up. And once you have a developmental level at the region, you hold people in your parliament, and they deliver achievement for 2024. And coming back to Lagos State, we must thank Mr. Governor. And we have the red line, we have the blue, we have the purple now. And we're going to have the other one that will come on board. And that shows to everybody that we are having the real dividend of democracy in Lagos State. And that is what we want in that state, not only in Lagos, because we want better life for everybody. And for me, we are moving forward despite the challenges that we can see. At the end of the tunnel, there is a brighter light coming ahead in 2025.
There's a brighter light. All right. Let's now look at leadership and policies, both for Nigeria and Lagos State. In your view, how effective has the government been in implementing policies to address critical challenges that the country has faced?
I think we must also commend Mr. President for his effort to confront corruption headlong. And from his government, we have seen people that have been sacked, people that have been removed for not being transparent enough, for not delivering what they should adequately. And it's not minding whose ox is God. If you don't deliver, Mr. President will not look at your face. So if he gives an assignment to you, go and do your assignment. You don't need to be looking for him. He's doing his own. You do your own. And everyone, look, the time of lackadaisical attitude to government policies and approach is over. This is a period to deliver, and you must deliver. I tell workers, even in my small office, that you must deliver. And when you do the work, you'll be blessed. But without doing the work, you can't get anything. And that we have seen at the federal level. We have also seen that in Lagos State. And many developmental achievements have been achieved by Mr. Governor in Lagos State, and he's been able to bring in, inject new bloods into the system. There are young people he has brought in, there are young people Mr. President has brought in to do the work so that they can advise him properly, and he's listening to us when we tell him what we feel we can do to get Nigeria out of the woods.
2024 indeed was a year, even with the achievements that you've talked about that the government has achieved. But there were a lot of challenges, you know, with the year. So how well did you think that the government were able to handle these challenges, especially looking at how it reflected on the life of residents?
You know, what we are passing through is like somebody who has gone to the surgical ward. Operation has been performed on you. You need some time to recuperate. You need some time to get out of the pain. And that is what we passed through in 2024. No doubt about it, a lot of Nigerians face many challenges. We feel it and we know it because I'm a pastor and I must look and care for the people. But the point is, once we know that the pain will be for a while, then we know at the end of it, we will now celebrate. We are going to celebrate. What we are passing through is a period of restoration. And I'm happy that Mr. President acknowledged that in his budget. He called it budget of hope and restoration. And that is also our own watchword at NCPC and for Lagos State CAN. That look, 2025 was our year of restoration. The years that the locusts have eaten, the cankerworms, the caterpillar will be restored. Enjoy chapter 2 from verse 21 to 25. So Nigerians, we feel your pain, but you are coming out of it stronger. And you will see the glory of God in the land of the living by the special grace of God. What we need is prayer, and also we also need to manage the resources that we have. And if there are things that we need to drop, we should drop them at this time for a purpose, because of the greater blessing that will come.
So talking about, you are the Executive Secretary of the NCPC, and I believe that this commission bridges faith and governance. So how well has the collaboration between the NCPC and the government also helped in, you know, cushioning this?
Thank you very much. My assignment is bigger than just pilgrimage. Mr. President asked me to be the link between the two faiths and also people of other faith, ensuring that Nigeria witness harmonious relationship and we're able to work together. United we stand, divided we fall. And that is why my duty is not only to take people on pilgrimage, but to interact and interface with people of other faith. And that is why I'm a member of Nigeria Interreligious Council, NIREC, where you have the Sultan of Sokoto co-chair with the President of CAN, and just 15-15 from each side. And we meet quarterly. The last one was this month. And we discussed, deliberate on how to make sure Nigeria is united. We also dissuade people who want to destabilize our country, who want to use religion as an instrument of destabilizing the nation. And we're able to establish that, no, we are one people, we are one nation. And this is our nation. There is no other place like Nigeria. And there is no country in Africa that can absorb the number of people you have in Nigeria. So if Nigeria is not stable, there will be a problem in Africa. And the world, we know that indeed there is a big challenge for them. So for us, we must work together and we must preach faith. The first batch of Christians are in the Holy Land as I speak with you. I led them to the Holy Land, but I must come back because of other things, other that will go, and many things we need to do. And they are praying for Nigeria. People said Israel is not safe, they cannot go. I told you, I tell you again. And more than that, people's faith will be strengthening when they see where Jesus was born, where
We'll continue conversation. Please stay. We thank you for staying with us. It is still the conversation, and we are still talking about year 2024. Like I said before, 2024 was a year, and we are talking about the developmental achievements in Lagos State and Nigeria. We still have with us Bishop Professor Stephen Adebite, the Executive Secretary of the Nigerian Christian Pilgrim Commission. And before we went on break, he was talking about some pilgrims in the Holy Land right now. So I'll still hold you on the position of faith leaders. How do you think they can best serve as advocates of good governance and hold our political leaders accountable?
The first thing for us to do is to be accountable to ourselves. And if you want to be responsible, you must be accountable. And when you do that, then you'll be able to tell others what they need to do. But if you yourself, you don't have it, you cannot give it. So the ministers that we have today, but ordinarily, we must recognize that there are two sets of ministers, men of God. There are people that call themselves men of God in quotes.
The ones that call themselves, not God calling them.
God calling them. So from those people, you cannot expect anything short of what they are doing. But if you are really called by God, you have the fear of God. And the fear of God is the beginning of wisdom. And you take your cue from the likes of Prophet Samuel, the first prophet in Israel and the greatest that ever lived. So we will know that God is the provider. The name is Jehovah Jireh. So you will not be anticipating on things that you do not need. It's what you need that you will speak to God about, and He will provide it for you. He has never disappointed His own people. So when you are at that level and you are able to manage and control yourself, then you can face anyone and tell them to their faces, you must deliver. You must do this, you must do that. But if you don't do it yourself, people will be pointing out, accusing finger at you as well. That what you are saying, you don't do it. And we can't see that in you being practiced. You cannot be a successful minister of God while people under you are suffering. While you look the other way, even at your members, you must be able to have an holistic ministry where you care for the needs of people, where you have their concern at heart. Then you'll be able to show even to the government that no, if I can do this individually, the government should be able to do better. So those are the things that we need to do. And when government is also doing well, we should commend them. Just this week, month, about 2 weeks ago, or a week ago, I saw the governor distributing 257 vehicles to security apparatus. And that shows that really we care for the need of our people. And we should commend them and we should encourage them. And anytime we see any anti-government policy, we must come out to condemn it. And Mr. President, Mr. Governor knows that very well. If anything happens, I tell him, Mr. Governor, we should not do this one. And many a times the policy will be amended to fit and suit the people. So these are the things we must do. And that is exactly what we are doing at the federal level. We speak to Mr. President, can we look at this side? And Mr. President has a listening ear. It's one of the reasons why I love him so much. Once we tell him, before you know it, actions will be taken. And people will see, yes, he has done well. For instance, last year, Mr. President released palliatives to people. A lot of people will tell you it's not enough, but it goes a long way in the life of so many people. All state governments were giving. The same thing Christian Association of Nigeria were giving. The Muslim world was giving every state so that they'll be able to release to people. But having done that, Mr. President will not supervise the distribution. He has given it to governors, he has given it to House of Representatives, he has given it to senators. Why would they not go to their constituency and do the same? What do they want to do with it? Anyone that is ordering money from such or selling such a thing is raining curses on himself and his family. Nobody should do that. And they must also project what Mr. President is doing. They must let people know. A lot of things is being done, but nobody is talking about them. And Mr. President cannot be the mouthpiece. He cannot be the one going about telling people, I've done this, I've done this. Mr. President released support for Muslim community to go on pilgrimage. I told people he's not a religious bigot. What he has done for Muslim, he will do for Christian. He has done it before in Lagos. At the federal level, he won't change. He has done the same thing. That is why we are in the Holy Land. People pay just half of what will take them to the Holy Land. And he has done it to the Muslim community. So who will tell you, Mr. President, is this, is that? No. But people must hear and listen to what he's doing. We don't receive and just hold it ourselves. Let people see what he's doing. And if there is anything we need to advise, we will not stop to do that. That is why some of us are in government. They know us ab initio, and they will know we will say it as it is, and we'll continue to do that.
All right, my colleague over there has a question for you.
Bishop, I'd like to ask you, sir, you've talked about some of the things that for you caught it for in 2024, both in Lagos and at the federal level. But if you'd also like to take a look at security, government is doing a whole lot, especially in Lagos and Nigeria. How can you, what can you say about the lot that government has done in ensuring that security remains top-notch?
Thank you very much. We must give kudos to the selection of the Chief of Defense Staff. He has done a lot, and he's still doing a lot. And you will agree with me that the rate of kidnapping, the rate of incessant killings has reduced to a minimal level. But we are not going to stop at that. We want it eradicated totally. We have a Nigeria before that is very safe. I traveled when I was younger, leading the young people in the whole of Lagos in the Methodist Church. In the night, it's good night Lagos, good morning Enugu, good night Lagos, good morning Kaduna, and nothing will happen to us on the way. Very innocent, not married, even after marriage, having our children. Our wives were not afraid. They released us to go. But now that things have changed, Mr. President has said he's not going to accept anything than the peaceful environment for everybody. And that is what we advocate. And another thing that he has done is to support NIREC so that we can discuss with the Sultan is both religious leader and the political leader in the north, to the Muslim world in Nigeria. And the camp president is also the leader of religion in Christianity. And that with other traditional rulers that we have, we meet every quarter to discuss about peaceful coexistence. And something happened in Lagos recently. Some people went to Lekki Central Mosque and they put an inscription, Jesus is not God. What is the meaning of that? What concerns Jesus with a mosque? So it's to bring unnecessary agitation and crisis. And I called the Grand Chief Imam, who is my very good friend and in-law. I said, Grand Chief Imam, what am I saying in that place? He said, no, let me check. And he checked, and in 5 minutes he called me back, and he said, the thing has been brought down. That is Lagos that we know, and that is the Lagos that will continue. Nobody can bring religious crisis to us here. My own grandmother was a Muslim, and I have an Islamic name. So why should I fight my own people? And that is what we want to translate to every part of our nation, so that security will be guaranteed and everybody can move freely, walk freely, and let's have a better Nigeria. So we must commend Mr. President for what he has done for the investment in security apparatus and making sure that they are working tirelessly around the clock. And the new Chief of Army Staff will also deliver. We must commend the efforts of the former Chief of Army Staff, General Lagbaja. He did a lot. He's a brave man. He's our pride. And we pray that his soul will rest in peace. Amen. That perpetual will shine upon him. And for the new one appointed, I can assure you he's going to deliver. We want a better Nigeria. And nobody can come from outside and be disturbing our peace here. Okay. The game is over.
Right. Joy, let me quickly just ride on. Back here in Lagos, issue of environment, sustainability is also very important, and government is also very particular about ensuring that people live in a clean environment, ensure that, you know, they patronize the PSP operators. What can you add this morning, especially this last year we had, well, we're still in 2024, I'm already calling it last year. We had outbreak of cholera. You know, we're still dealing with a little bit of health issues here, but how do we ensure that the people, you know, communication goes especially to the very grassroots where one can hear and tell another, and help government, you know, propagate the gospel of living in a clean environment, which is also next to godliness?
I'm one of the advocates of the program with the Ministry of Environment, and I gave a statement to people in Lagos that you cannot negotiate cleanliness to godliness. Personally, I don't accommodate anything that is dirty. All my workers knows that, and that is why I came up boldly to speak. The Grand Chief Imam spoke about it, and we attend all the seminars organized by the ministry, and to tell people that we are solidly behind government policy to ensure that we have a clean environment and we have a better environmental sanitation. And we will support it any day, anytime. And aside that, there was a program that government also brought out about immunization. And we supported it. I advocated for it, and we all support it wholeheartedly. And we tell all our churches, all our people, release your children to take the vaccine. It's not a killer's vaccine. And we are able to demystify all the things that people heard about vaccine. And we told them, even there are some churches who are recalcitrant. And we spoke to their general overseer. Where do you come with all these your beliefs and philosophy? That when they give your children, they will not do this, they will not be able to have children. Who says that to you? That is ignorance. And they listen to us, and they were vaccinated. So we'll continue to support anything that has to do with the life of our people and anything that has to do with our environment, including noise pollution. I told people at meetings, I told leaders of churches, if you are making noise in your church, they will shut it down. And don't call my number. You must abide by the rules.
Even our God is a God of order.
God of order, there is order in heaven. That is why you have the Godhead, you have the archangels, and you have the angels. So you must listen. And what should come out from your church and your pulpit is sound, not noise. So if you are 30 in the room, why must you put megaphone outside? Who are you talking to? The same thing goes to mosque. So myself and Grand Chief Imam, we work in synergy. We work in tandem. Anything I say, he will subscribe to it. Anything he says, I will subscribe to it. We must have a peaceful, orderly environment. We are not negotiating that in Lagos. So, including hotels, motel, whatever they call themselves, they cannot disturb us. And if they do, we have number to call. I've done that several times. And government have responded. They have shut down hotels beside my house. And they appealed to me. I said, no, go and pay the fine. It's 500 million. I go and pay it now. Next time you will not misbehave. So let us have a better environment for one another.
So even as 2024 comes to an end, what are the lessons that can be learned?
I think the first lesson for 2024 is a lesson of moderation. It's a lesson of courage. It's a lesson of restoration. It's a lesson of believing in our leaders. Once you notice that a leader is doing well, let us support that individual without sentiment, without being self-aggrandizement into the matter. You don't need to condemn somebody because you know what he's doing is not getting to you the way you expected, and you now want it to just live like that. No. If you know a policy have a better result at the end of the day, we must embrace it. We must clamor for it. And that is what we have seen in the president. Let us support his policy. The Renew Hope agenda is a reality, and Nigeria will be better for it. What we are used to is to finish everything and everybody goes home and nothing on the table anymore. But Mr. President is saying, no, we can still keep some. You remember, our name have been removed from the names of debtors in Nigeria because we have paid all the debts now. And we are also servicing external debt. And the finance minister said to me, Mr. President, don't want to hear that every month you don't pay what you are expected to pay. So we have learned how to cut our clothes according to our size. And at times, it might go beyond that. You cut it according to the cloth.
According to the clothes, if it's 1
If
yard.
the cloth is 1 yard, make it sleeveless. It's a style. And if it's going to take the other sleeve or two, make it go. You still wear something. So this Christmas, your celebration must be in moderation. There is an adage in Yoruba, Shebo Timo, Elewa Asapon. So do it moderately.
For those who don't understand.
No, it's to cut your coat according to the cloth.
Okay.
If you don't do that, after Christmas, there is January. January is the longest month, especially for civil servants. You know, you've collected your bonus on the 15th.
Oh my goodness.
So you now go 15 extra days. So and you have to pay bills, children,
School fees,
school fees,
house rent,
their addresses, and your house rent, many other things will come in. They will come from the village. You must send to them. So let us cut it bit by bit, but you are getting there. In 2025 is a year of restoration. It's a year of brightness. It's a year of glorification. It's a year of multiplication. And Mr. President said he has a friend that uses a Rolls Royce, he has 5. But now he has reduced it, and he's using something lesser than that. You can cut unnecessary journey. Make sure you go to where it's important and where you are needed most. It's not every outing you should attend. And when you do that, there will be something you are keeping for the raining days. And Nigeria will be better for it at the end of the day.
I was going to ask you actionable advice, but you have given it already. So what is your aspiration for the year 2025?
For 2025 is the year we have been waiting for. It's a year we will witness tremendous growth, economically, spiritually, materially, and all the like. All we need to do is to believe and trust in God. He has promised to restore our years of wastage, the years that the cankerworm, the locusts have eaten, and he has given us a Bible verse. And it's in Joel chapter 2, verses 21 to 25. So be expectant. Open up, receive the grace of God, and it shall be well with our president, shall be well with all our governors, especially the governor of Lagos State, our state. It shall be well with our first lady, everybody. Shall be well with Nigeria and Nigerians in the mighty name of Jesus Christ. Shalom.
Amen. We thank you very much, Bishop Professor Stephen Adebite, the Executive Secretary, Nigerian Christian Pilgrim Commission. Thank you for sharing your perspective on the progress we've made so far as a state and a nation in 2024. Thank you so much for joining us. The conversation continues after this. Stay with us.